Hello, I'm Kristen.
I'm Yesenia.
And I'm Jessie, and today we're going to be talking about ratios focused on converting units. And so here we have gathered a list of middle school Common Core standards. You'll see that these standards include 5th grade to 9th grade standards. So here's the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th right here. And we use these standards to find articles about ratios focused on converting units. From these articles, we were able to construct a list of best practices that you'll find right here. And using this list of best practices, we were able to find games online. And we critiqued a few games in order to see what kind of benefits they can provide to our students.
The first website we found was called Math Games. On the home page, you can click what grade you're in. We're going to go with grade 6. And you can select a skill from the list. We're going to go ahead and click on unit prices with customary unit conversions up to 100. We're going to go ahead and play a game. Here we see one type of question here is a comparison between the two. If we select an answer and we get it correct, we have a green check mark. As we go through each of the questions, they look a little bit different. If we get a question incorrect, it'll have a yellow exclamation point. As we move on through the levels, we notice that the questions do not get any harder. There are different versions of the questions, but between level 1 and level 2, we have the same difficulty of questions. A couple pros we found with this website are there are a variety of conversions. We use standard units and monetary value. The material is challenging for students. Some questions ask students to compare two types of measurements to see which is the better buy. Some of them just ask price per pint. Some cons we see here are it resembles practice questions or like a quiz in class versus a fun game for them. There's no fractions or data tables, and there's also no visual cues, so you have to know how to convert these measurements already. Another nice thing we do like about this website, though, is you can go to a tracker here. We have activity and see how many stars you have achieved, how much time you have put towards these skills, and you also have an activity log so the teacher can see what you've been doing. If you're a teacher or a student, you can actually assign work, so this would be fun in class or as a homework assignment.
Hello again, I'm Yesenia. So for the second game that we picked out was Measurement Menu. This game caught our attention because it shows the use of different types of conversions. So as you can see through these subtopics, we have inches to feet, yards to feet. We also have metric units, metric volume. The thing that we liked about this game was that the subtopics do lead to a cumulative topic towards the end, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But in the first few topics, we liked that it had a visual cue. So for this first game, we see a ruler, and then the first question asks, how many yards are in 9 feet? So the student would have to know how to convert yards to 9 feet, so they would have to know that it's 3 yards. This doesn't have a check or a minus, but it does have a score point value, and if the student gets it wrong, the score will go down by 5 points. The con about this game is that there isn't an overall overview of the game. So if the student does finish all these 3, the teacher won't have an idea of how well versus how bad they did. And then the last, a cumulative game, it does come in 2 modes, a relaxed mode, which is, I guess, for fun, and a time mode is a little competitive. The time mode, at the end, it does ask. The thing that we liked about this cumulative final is also a bad and a good thing. It does give a sense of real life comparison. So a man would be 160 and a luxury cruise ship would be 51 tons. But it doesn't emphasize the actual conversion between units. You can see the difference in the conversion or in the units. But as we level up, most of the questions do get repeated, which is also a con. There are pros to this game. The importance of seeing and practicing from converting back from units. So we have, in this section, we have 13 inches is equal to 1 foot and an inch. 15 inches would be 1 foot and 3 inches, and so forth. As informative as this game is, it did fall a little short. The game felt more like a quiz at times. The questions do become repetitive, and as we go through each assessment, they don't get any more challenging. Another critique we have about this game is that it also doesn't go between metric and imperial system. So if we're just sticking to imperial, it'll go strictly from inches to inches, feet to feet. And if we go back to the metric system, it only strictly stays within its metric system. Also, a negative was that there aren't any visual cues per other topic, so the only ones that have the visual cues were the ruler games. Finally, if the students did choose to do this last best measurement topic, it asks at the end if they would like to send an email to a teacher to show the progress. The email does not send.
This is Jessie again. We found that the games we critiqued seemed to lack an interactive and engaging aspect that we were able to find in another game called Prodigy. The games we critiqued weren't as interactive as Prodigy, but each game we chose strengthened the students' understandings of the content matter. On the other hand, Prodigy is an overview of 6th grade standards. So over here you'll see the question that is in the game. They ask, which multiplication property does this sentence show? So 4 times 1 equals 4. That is the identity. And let's cast the spell. You'll see that it will have a battle with a monster, and you can see the fight occur. This interactive aspect is more appealing to students, and it actually kind of enforces that the ratios can go beyond just
being a
textbook questions and quizzes. I hope this was helpful in learning how to use best practices to find engaging activities for students learning ratios focused on converting units. You'll be able to find our list of best practices in our forum post. Please let us know if this critique has helped your class.